Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing convention-style entertainment directly to you. Today, we'll be visiting the world of Remnant with 4 members of the cast of RWBY, and now is the time for all of you in our chat room to begin typing in your questions. Our producers will be looking for questions related to RWBY that involve all of today's cast members, so please keep that in mind when you're submitting yours. RWBY was created in 2013 by the late Monty for Rooster Teeth. It quickly became a viral hit and has gone on to become an international sensation, generating 7 volumes, spin-offs, video games, chart-topping soundtrack releases, earned several awards in the category of Best Animated Series, and has the rare distinction to be adapted into manga and American-style comics. Its fandom is one of the fastest growing in the world, and we thank all of you today for joining us for the next 50 minutes. Immediately after this session, you'll have the opportunity to talk to them directly through our private chat options, as well as purchasing autographs, personalized video recordings, and some of these opportunities are limited, so please head over to GalaxyCon.com to sign up. And now let's bring out our guests. First, she is the voice of Ruby Rose, the silver-haired huntress and wielder of the Crescent Rose. Please welcome Lindsay Jones.
Hey, everybody.
Hey!
Hope you're doing well. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So great. How's everything in your part of the world?
Pretty good. A bit bizarre to be doing this from home now. I know we've done a bunch of conventions where we actually physically travel to you, but now I was saying the con is coming to our interweb, so thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Always glad to see you. Next, she is the voice of Weiss, Schnee, the Dame of Dust and wielder of the Mutinaster. Please welcome Kara Eberle.
What up, guys? Hey. Guys. How y'all doing?
Hey. Well, how are you, my dear?
Very well. Excited to be here and fun Sunday fun day.
Absolutely. Next, she's the voice of Belladonna, our favorite faunus and wielder of the Gamble Shroud. Please welcome Arryn Zech.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing, Arryn?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, we're doing well. So glad to be here on this lovely Sunday, and yeah, it's not the usual Memorial Day weekend we got, but we are making the most of it, aren't we?
Yes, very true.
Absolutely. And now she is the voice of Yang Xiaolong and wielder of the Ember Celica. Please welcome Barbara Dunkelman.
Hello, Sunday.
Hey.
What's up, my friends? Welcome.
Good.
Hey, Yang.
Good. Barbara, how are you in your part of the world?
I'm great. It's been a busy time here in Austin, doing a lot of work from home stuff and trying to figure things out as we go. But it's been very interesting, very challenging in a fun way.
Yeah. Challenging is a good word for 2020 so far.
For sure.
Yeah, one of many words I would use to describe it.
Indeed, but we're absolutely making the most of it. And Lindsay, you were making the most of it by experimenting with your hair color. Why don't you just show it up?
I was just saying, everyone's like, ooh, girl. I'm like, listen, okay, it's like in a halfway point. This is not the final product. I'm sorry. I'm all doing it box from home, but I'm doing like a half and half, a blonde and blue right now. Great Schnee colors. So, Kara, dye your hair red. Okay.
That would actually be very cool, I think.
You would look pretty hardcore.
Yeah, you look good with hair.
Yeah. I think the gauntlet's been thrown.
I just appreciate y'all's patience too, because like we're talking about challenging doing stuff from home and like just the weird, insane state the world is in right now. I like shotgunned into this panel because I was taking care of my kids. I'm like, kids, I have to go. The audience needs me.
Stop needing me as a mother.
Oh, I mean, they're fine now. They have their father, but still, yeah.
Are they really fine? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, more children. Yeah.
Cool. I've certainly heard this story before, but I would love our audience who haven't yet. I would love for you guys to recount how RWBY began for each of you.
Okay.
RWBY, you want to start?
Lindsay?
Sure. I mean, I think we all have the same story. All of us knew Monty Ohm. We were friends with him at the office, and Michael hung out with him a lot after hours. Monty would work at the office until very, very, very late, and Michael would too. So they would bond over anime or things like that, and I liked anime and video games too. So we'd hang out and chat. And at one point, he said, "Hey, I'm making an anime," and I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah, sure. All right, Monty, go for it." Like, sure. But Monty was always telling me like, awesome ideas that he had, but I didn't think it would ever like, take fruition. And then he showed me a little bit of the Red trailer that he animated. And I was like, this is amazing. Oh my God. And he said like, do you want to audition for the main character? And I was like, oh yeah, duh, obviously. So yeah, one thing led to another and here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just piggybacking off Lindsay, it was kind of the same for all of us. It was very, informal, kind of a I'd say it was a little bit of a surprise because we didn't really, I didn't think when Monty came up to me as when I was at the reception desk, when I worked there at Rooster Teeth, he's like, so I have an idea for a show. And I'm like, he was in crunch time for RWBY. So I was like, shouldn't you finish RWBY first? And Monty's like, yeah, but Bernie said if I could like finish it on time, blah, 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 then I can get started on this. And he went on with, the plot and everything, the storyline figured out, before, he even put pen to paper. And so it was really cool to see how, passionate he was about this project that hadn't existed yet. And then he threw in, oh, by the way, I think you'd be good voicing one of the characters. Would you like to? I said, I've never done that before because I know neither has anybody else that I'm asking. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll try. So.
Yeah, pretty much. The same. Everyone's going to say the same thing. Yeah. Just before, I was actually still in college. Those are my dogs. I was still in college and Monty was like, do you want to do this thing? I was like, yeah, sure, okay. Because I thought it would just be some kind of like small side project. Wouldn't really like get off the ground. But it'd be like a fun way to like act while I was still in school. And the Red trailer came out while I was studying abroad in France, and it just like blew up. It's insane.
Yeah. I don't know why, Arryn, but when you were like, oh, I was still in college, for some reason I was picturing you as 18. And I was like, wait, but you're not like 24 now. Like, what?
It was my last year.
Yeah, I had to do the math again in my head.
Good catch.
Yeah. Same thing as the other ladies. We worked with Monty at Rooster Teeth and had known him at that point a couple of years. And I remember in passing, he mentioned the show he was working on. And he came out to me and he said, how would you feel about doing a voice for a badass Goldilocks kind of character that I'm working on? And I was like, yeah, sure. I thought it would be some character like maybe would have one episode show up in a show somewhere and it would be like a one-time thing. And I was like, cool, that should be fun. I had no idea it was for one of the 4 main characters of a show that he was working on for a long time. And I auditioned for it and luckily they liked me and I got the part. Woohoo. Even though our names were in the Red trailer already as cast of the 4 main girls, even though none of us had auditioned yet.
No, we had no idea.
Fun fact. That Red trailer had all of our names. We didn't audition yet.
Could you imagine like getting recast? There's just like a line through your name. Like, oh, actually, it's this person.
Okay.
Sorry.
We upload this trailer. So yeah, luckily it all worked out and here we are.
Well, I know as voice actresses, you're often asked, what advice would you give to somebody to want to break in the business? And in your cases, you guys came in through like Narnia. You came in through a place that I don't think anybody else could quite get into.
I feel like
fell down through the attic.
Yeah. I feel like so many people ask us that question. And to be honest, everyone gets into this industry in their own way. There's so much of course there's talent involved, but there's so much luck involved as well. And making like genuine connections with people that like creates these opportunities. So there's no like real way to tell people like, this is what you have to do. There are of course like steps that you can take, but there's no way of telling what's actually going to happen.
Absolutely. I would argue that like along with luck, like you can make your own luck, I would say. Obviously nothing's going to happen if you sit at home and go like, well, my dreams are dreams. Like, well, you got to go out there and try, my man.
Yeah.
So, but I will say I agree that like the most success I've found is through my connections. Like I'm just working at RT. I knew Miles, he made me a recommendation. I got my job. And then now with the conventions we do, we network like crazy with other voice actors. So now we get the wonderful opportunity to work with actors that we've looked up to for years. So,
and so many people will say that that's like just a not the way to do it. Like people who don't fully understand what it is get really upset when people are like, you're just like using your connections. Like, well, that's just what this is. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and connections don't necessarily have to be other professionals or other like super successful voice actors, but it could just be other people who are fans of the same kind of thing who maybe want to work on their own projects, who when they're looking for someone to voice a character in their animated series that they're working on, they know you and they know that you want to pursue voice acting. So that's a step in.
And vice versa. We were doing X-Ray and Vav. I was like, hey, Yuri, do you want to voice a character in my show? Buddy. Cool.
There's an illusion that it's secret backdoor deals and weird handshakes and stuff like that. No, it is networking. It's that are you fondly known in someone's mind? It would be perfect for this. Exactly. And that's why I tell people in the auditioning process, it's like, you're not auditioning for the role, you're auditioning to be invited back to audition for more things. And you'll do something in audition, and then I'll get you a part for something else in another show 6 months later.
I kind of like carries on to a lot of different jobs, in general too. The more you put yourself out there and to meet people that have the similar interests as you and work at, places you'd like to work at, it comes in handy when you least expect it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's been the fondest memory related to RWBY that you ladies have had so far, besides going to Switzerland?
Yo, we tell this story. We do.
You can tell us. You can tell us the story.
What happened?
Not this one. Wait.
I wouldn't say that's my fondest memory. It was a funny
Okay,
memory.
Certainly not my fondest.
Not Arryn's fondest. I don't know if there necessarily is like a favorite or fondest or most memorable moment, because there's so many different things that have happened over the course of almost now 8 seasons that have happened to us and with us that have been life-changing. But the one that always sticks out in my head is RTX 2013, when we were premiering the first ever episode of RWBY, and all 4 of us were standing backstage while the guys were up on stage premiering the episode. And just like the energy in that room for something that people knew almost nothing about, but were completely on board just from the 4 trailers. It was like such an energetic, magical feeling. And I think like that was just that moment where I think we all were like, wait a minute, this might be something.
I just got chills. That was mine too.
Yeah, I love it.
I remember we all like looked at each other and we're just like, whoa, we all.
Yeah, we can't say no words. We're like, holy F.
No,
wow.
Right?
My goodness.
Holy remnants.
I was working at RTX that year, and after the panel, I wasn't able to work anymore because people I think I was working like either 343, I don't know what it was at the time, but I was like manning that area, and people just kept stopping me and be like, I can't do this now.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of moments like that too. Just like the fan reception that we get from conventions, being able to see that in real time is just so overwhelming, and I don't think I'll ever get over that. But for me, especially now, like, as a mom, I have a very soft spot for kids. So for any kids that come to the booth and they're like, "Oh, I love RWBY, like it's amazing, it's the best show," I'm like, "I love you."
I do have a favorite moment now that you've mentioned that. So while we were
I'm getting worked up now. Sorry.
While we were at the convention, I don't know if I'm allowed to like talk about other conventions. Anyway, we were in Atlanta, and there was this little girl who walks up to our table with her arms just full of all 4 of the plushies, and she was so excited to be there, and I cried.
I remember that.
Yeah, the kids always get us because it's like we all grew up watching cartoons and stuff like that. And to be someone's cartoon character is something we talk about all the time of being, that's the one thing that's mind blowing to me. It's like, I get that people watch the show and there's millions of people around the world who love RWBY, but it's the kids who like watch the show and they're like, that's my favorite character. That's my superhero, whatever it is. It's like,
I love it.
Yeah. The other girls know. I mean, I'm still that way at conventions. I'm like, oh my God, it's them. They're like, you got to go to the booth. You got to calm down, Lindsay.
Lindsay will divert from whatever, course we're going on as soon as we see something. We're like, where's Lindsay? She's probably talking. It's okay.
It's like, I'll still walk to the destination I have to get to, but as I'm going, I'm like, oh my God.
Make some pit stops.
Very RWBY-esque.
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure to me to be at a show and see a thriving, energetic, growing fandom and see the celebrities represented in that fandom equally energetic and meeting them together. Seeing you ladies at your tables and hosting you at the shows, it's really a delight because you really do give that energy back to your fans. And speaking of, we got a whole chat room of your fans. Let's go ahead and run some of their questions. So, Jude, why don't you start us off? This one comes from TMLC, and they would like to know, what were your first thoughts or impressions on working on RWBY?
A lot of mixed emotions, I guess.
A lot of feeling.
Excited and intimidated.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think this was all of our first voiceover projects to do. Some of us have had like acted before, like had the acting experience and all that stuff before, but this was all of our first voiceovers. It was difficult, especially for a character like Blake, who's very just like. So I definitely had to re-record a couple of times, but it was very exciting to start like a new adventure, basically.
Yeah. I agree for sure. I think that we mention it all the time how we all thought it was like a really cool project, and the fact that we got to be main characters on a show. None of us had that experience yet before, let alone with voice acting. But I think we all assumed it was just going to be a fun little show and maybe last a couple episodes or a season. I don't even think any of us knew how long it was supposed to last.
Yeah.
So I think we all just kind of went in there and we voiced the first couple episodes, and then it premiered and it was like, oh, wait a minute. Whoa, pause here. But I think we all loved it right off the bat. It was such a cool, unique story that the people working on it were really passionate about. And there's nothing really more that you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not to get like too sentimental, I guess, but it's like really hard to explain the mixed emotions. Like it's such a unique experience for RWBY alone, like not just to have a premiere show, like, wow, this is the first time I get to voice act, the first time I'm doing something like this, but like, I don't think we can quite explain how unique RWBY is as like a construct, and how much like of new venues of like creativity have opened up because of RWBY, especially with American produced content that mirrors RWBY. I mean, it has opened up a lot of doors for other companies to make similar products. It's opened up a lot of collaboration between RT and other properties, including international audiences like in Japan. I mean, that's something that we'll never get over, is like Japanese people know who we are and watch us in RWBY. Cool.
And they like us?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I question myself about everything. Sorry.
There is something amazing about an American anime show that really, it wasn't the first attempt to it, but you guys were definitely the first success out of it. And it's really, you guys are part of a benchmark in animation history. Just with that alone.
Thank you.
That's crazy.
We can't take any credit for it.
I was going to say, shout out Monty and the team, man.
Absolutely.
They're wizards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that being said, if you're watching, please give some like love to the RWBY, because they're all at home working super hard in the middle of this insanity, and I'm sure they could use all the pats on the back they could get.
And also, just another special shout out, we have a new show called Talk RWBY to Me on the roosterteeth.com website, where basically it's everyone who works on RWBY talks about the process of working on RWBY. So if you love the show, which if you're watching right now, I bet you do, just a hunch, you should definitely go check it out.
Awesome. Thank you, TMLC. That was a great opening question. Jude, let's run another one. This comes from Charlene. Question for the panel. Is there anything that has happened in RWBY that surprised you or you didn't expect from the start of the series?
I mean, I didn't know that Pyrrha was going to die.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. We were like, oh, no, Arryn. Yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, Jen knew.
Yeah, she knew right away, I think, even before she auditioned for the character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the big plot points that I think people are probably assuming right now that we didn't know about, like certain deaths and dismemberment and things of that nature. A lot of us knew right from the bat that was going to happen.
I didn't know you were going to lose your arm.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that either.
I don't think I told any of you guys. Yeah.
The only one I didn't know about, and I watched in real time when the episode came out, was Tortwick's death. I was like, oh yeah.
I don't think I knew about that one either. Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Oh, he's gone.
That happened. I don't remember who I talked to, but I was like, is he gone?
I was the same thing. I was like, where did he go?
Is this real? And after Weiss got stabbed, I texted either Miles or Carrie, and I was like, does Carrie die?
Robbie.
I wish you had texted Kara, like, you okay? Question.
Yeah, babe.
Are you? Yeah.
Get a response. No.
Nice. Charlene, thank you for that one. Jude, what's next?
F's in chat for Weiss. Yeah.
Oh, this is from an unknown sender, but do you screen the episodes before they air or watch weekly like the rest of the world?
I watch weekly.
Yeah.
When everybody else can.
So back in the day when all of Rooster Teeth was in the same building, I know Lindsay and I both did this to some extent. I used to peek in on the animatics and like rough cuts of the episode all the time.
Yeah, we were creeping
You
hard.
send them to me. It was very nice.
Yeah, sometimes I would like take a picture or like a little video for Arryn if like something really cool happened or like something looked really cool. I was like, oh, you should check this out so you could get a little sneak peek. Don't tell anybody at the office I was doing that. I was being very careful. Don't worry, guys. No, it's okay. It's probably fine. It was just a little text message.
Totally.
You're fine. I'm sure it's fine. Clearly nothing bad happened from it. So, but yeah, like now I try to watch when it actually comes out, and also who knows what it's going to be like by the time we launch this season of where we'll be, even if we'll be at the office again. I don't know.
Yeah. There have been a few times where, like, just because of the nature of voice acting, where, like, we'll read the script, I get in my head what I think the scene is like or where the people are, positions, and then getting to see it animated and going, oh, like, I didn't really think about it that way. That's awesome. So it's not really like I didn't expect that. It's seeing this in a different light, or seeing it how someone else saw it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's exciting to get to watch it because I personally only read the bits that I'm in. I feel like that's a pretty typical actor thing to do.
Oh no, I sniff out all of it.
So when I watch it, I get to like genuinely watch it with like fresh eyes. So like this last season when there was a freaking whale. Oh
yeah.
You guys remember the whale?
Yeah, the last episode are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Spoiler if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I just said a whale.
Go see the whale. We don't know if it's. We're not telling you if it's evil or if it's good or what the whale is doing.
Oh my gosh! I just realized what could possibly happen with the whale.
A Star Trek crossover? Yep, way ahead of you.
More like Jonah and the whale.
I hope 2 more go up so Yang could just go whale, whale, whale.
Oh god!
There you go.
As a Star Trek fan, I'm interested in Lindsay's suggestion.
Thank you very much. I just want Scotty to say there be whales here, and then talk about transparent aluminium. So
there be rubies here.
I'm done now. Sorry.
No problem. Jude, what's next? This comes from Arrows. How relatable are your characters to who you are actually as people?
Sorry.
That's pretty. I think it's a pretty obvious answer for some of us. Yeah.
Relatable.
I would argue with any character you play, there's a little bit of that actor inside of them because that's where they got the part. But yeah, obviously, we're a little bit more put into our character's inspiration than normal. With my social awkwardness, it's very apparent. And actually, Monty said that to me before giving me the role or talking about the role of Ruby. He went, "You're socially awkward." And I was like, "Yes, I am. Thank you, Monty." He's like, "You play Ruby very well."
Right.
But I feel like I'm a blend of like Ruby and Blake because I also just want to be left alone and take a nap. Like, like that's it.
Right.
Maybe read a book, you know?
I'm probably closer to Ruby than Weiss just because of I'm definitely more hyper and talkative and outgoing, and I like to think nicer more than Weiss in some points. But as far as being like her, though, perfectionism-ish, like I definitely want things to be done in perfect in order. But yeah, I'm definitely more of a hyper Ruby, like I think.
I think I'm pretty similar to Blake. I'm really low key until I'm not. Yeah, I like to read. I've got all these books back there.
You
also
like Arryn,
like the men and the women.
Yes.
Wait, I don't know.
I say you also like the men and the women.
I know, but I wasn't sure if I was like allowed to say that.
I think it's pretty obvious. Blake likes all people.
I was like, I cannot confirm nor deny canonically in my head canon. Oh, that's a whole nother story.
Head canon is a dangerous place, my dear.
It is. Yeah, close that door. I would say for you, Arryn, I mean, just traveling with you, you make me think of Blake mixed with Nora because you are very calm and chill, but then you're right. Like you'll bust out and be like, yo, let's party. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm like one or the other. There's no real in between.
Yeah. It's a good thing though. It's nice to have all different types of you come out.
I'm a chameleon. I'm almost like Ilya. I blend into any situation.
There you go.
There is an argument. What came first, the puns or Yang? It's like the chicken or the egg. No one really knows if they came from Yang or me, but I would say it's probably a blend of the two. I don't think Yang would have been as punny if I wasn't voicing her. But I think like in the process of creating the characters and also continuing to write for the characters as the seasons go on, I think everybody working on that show takes a piece of us into the characters and involves us more and more. And from also just getting to know us better as friends. So it's, I don't know. I feel like that, as Lindsay said, there's always a piece of you in every character that you voice to some extent, but obviously the RWBY characters, me and Yang, are very similar in a lot of ways. And except for the temper tantrums, I don't really ever get mad. So
she doesn't.
It's
Really? It's almost
all
scarier that way. You're like,
one day I'm gonna explode.
Like, not.
You're not going to build up to one massive just supernova, right?
I guess we'll find out.
Oh, God.
Arrows, thank you for that question. Jude, what do we have next? From Trix. What was the hardest scene to record?
I feel like a lot of people would think from me that it's the like cryy ones, like the one with Adam or the one with Adam. But for me, the hardest one to do was whenever Blake was addressing the White Fang after she essentially burns her own house down, because it's such a long piece. And you have to break it up and build it and that kind of thing. Because I can cry on command. That's not a very hard thing for me to do. So working on this like first really big, very important speech that Blake has was the hardest thing for me to do, to be honest. The most fulfilling as well.
It's funny whenever we get this question. I always we always tend to have certain answers that we give for these things, but it always makes me think back to what it actually was like experiencing these scenes.
Right.
And in a way, the really extreme emotions and the emotional scenes are almost easier to record in a way because you know exactly what that's going to feel like, and you know how to emote that because it is one extreme. So when it's like a really, I feel like I shine the brightest when it's a really emotional or difficult scene, because then I feel like I actually get to act. And the scenes that are kind of more subdued, like there's a scene in volume 2 between Yang and Blake where she's essentially telling her she needs to slow down. It's in the classroom, and they're like, she's talking about her experience with her mom. And that scene was really challenging for me because the way Miles and Carrie were directing me, it was supposed to be, she was like reminiscing about it, but still sad. So it was like, I had to be both happy and sad in this kind of weird middle ground. So that to me was challenging because as a very unexperienced actor at the time, and even to this day, I just couldn't get it. And I think I had to re-record that 2 or 3 times to get it just right.
Getting that bittersweetness.
Yeah. But even watching it back, I'm like, I still am not too happy with my performance.
No,
I feel like all of us could go on about our performances.
Yeah, the early season.
I was gonna say the hardest like to record, like just basic or very generally, I would say would be the first couple times like I recorded period, in RWBY, trying to get used to how you work with the microphone and how you sound over speaker and feedback and whatnot, and just trying to get used to it was really hard for me. I had to have like Miles would be in the recording booth at some like when we first started recording because I had to go off of someone. So that was, I'd say, for that. But like Barbara said too, I think like it's when you have 2 emotions that you're trying to get with your character that you haven't done before. So like when Weiss and Yang were together and Weiss was trying to relate to Yang, and we've never seen that before. So that was difficult, but it was challenging but good. I like it.
Weird. Talk about like emotional range. That's very challenging for me. Like I agree that it's not too difficult to make yourself cry on command if you need to. You can work yourself up. But especially with a lot of the characters I play, they're not really matching my normal tone. Like I'm kind of a weirdo like character actor where I'm always like bleh, or like I'm a child. Yay. So I have to think about how would they cry or how would they laugh, because it can't be like Lindsay. It can't be the same way. So trying to like mess with that was weird for a little bit, especially again, RWBY, like for a while, like, one scene specifically was, I think it's volume 4, when you first see under Jean's armor, he's wearing the hoodie and RWBY laughs at him. And it's supposed to be funny and lighthearted, like, oh, like she's making fun of him, but they're friends. And I did a take and Miles was like, oh my God, you sounded evil. Like RWBY wants to turn into like a psycho witch. Let's tone it down. Okay. I'm like, okay, sorry about that. So that was a little challenging to get the hang of, I would say.
Not bad. Trix, thank you for that. That was a good one.
Great question.
What do we have next? This one from Stephanie. What line have you ad-libbed that you're most proud of?
Oh boy.
Like,
I've ad-libbed a lot. I have a bad habit of doing it, and sometimes they make it into the show, but sometimes Lindsay says no words that can't go in. So some of those ad-libs will never see the light of day, but the ones that did make it in, I really like She Likes Tuna a lot.
I really like tuna a lot.
It's a good one. Yeah. Same with Birdie No. And I'm hitting her on the way into the Emerald Forest. Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
love the. You're so smart. The Weiss one.
Oh, yeah. I'm rich. Yeah. I kind of just started making fun of Kara too. I'm sorry, Kara. I channeled like our relationship into that
It's
moment.
amazing.
That's okay though.
Oh boy.
Internet hug to all
Yes,
of you.
thank you.
What was the question again?
The ad-lib.
Oh, ad-lib.
Yeah.
I haven't really ad-libbed a lot. The one thing I did, just not really ad-lib, but correct, I'd say as Weiss would do, was one of the lines included the word bajillions. Like it was a ton, lots and lots, and bajillions. And I was like, Weiss would never say bajillion because that's not a real word. So we changed it to billions. So
It's true.
Grace doesn't really ad-lib. She doesn't really talk enough to be like.
It's true. If anything, she's telling everyone else to shut up. Like, okay, that's too much noise.
I definitely cursed a lot in the booth as Blake, but I don't really think that's ad-libbing. That's just me cursing in the booth.
Yeah, I think especially in more recent seasons, I feel like some of the characters haven't necessarily had a chance to ad-lib as much because they've been a little bit more serious. So we tend to have to get, the script across and like all the different points across. So there's not necessarily a chance to ad-lib. And I don't know if I've necessarily ad-libbed anything in the show that's come out that way that wasn't in the script originally. Like obviously when we're doing the voicing, things come up and they're like, actually, like, why don't you put this word in front of their instead, or like change this to be that.
a little bit.
It's not necessarily an ad-lib, but it is working with the directors to make it sound good. I feel like maybe for me, there's ways I've delivered a line that Miles and Kara were like, oh, like that was completely not what we were thinking, but like, let's go with that, like do that. So that's probably the closest I've come to having something not quite in the show.
Yeah.
Fair, absolutely fair. Thank you for that one, Stephanie. That was good. What do we have next?
Good
From
question.
Ricardo, what activities does Team RWBY do outside of recording together?
We actually don't record together.
Yeah, let's just say, well,
Besides conventions,
Yeah, conventions definitely. Because I live in Los Angeles, so. But yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
we like to have sushi.
How about this?
do.
What do y'all like to do on your own for spare time? What's your favorite leisure activity?
Oh, now it's a little different than normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what could I do inside my house?
I'm still in Achievement Hunter mode too, so I was like, oh wait,
Under-
family-friendly
let's say-
panel.
Your favorite leisure activity under optimal before society got paused.
Optimal situations.
Yeah.
I feel like mine's the same because I'm a very lame person.
No.
Goodness. I like baking a lot.
She makes
That's
really
fun.
good cupcakes and makes us
do.
all fat. So thanks,
do.
Lindsay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's been really hard to like want to bake at home too, and be like, I can't. I'm gonna eat all these. I'm gonna gain like 60 pounds. I cannot make cupcakes at home in the middle of a pandemic. No.
Oh my gosh.
It's been so hard because I love baking, but then I'm just gonna sit with all of this stuff at my own house, and I live alone, so I'm like, I'm not gonna eat this.
It's exactly how I feel. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Until you do, and it's delicious.
There's singular hair on my face, and I can feel it. Okay, I like to read and play video games, but during the pandemic, I've noticed how much I really enjoy cooking. Like I've experimented a lot with making like pestos and paella. I made this like vegan key lime pie thingies. I've just really enjoyed the time in the kitchen, and I didn't realize how much I enjoyed that. But it makes me happy. Yum food is yum, man.
Yum food is yum.
Yum is yum.
Yeah, can that be a shirt? Yum food is yum. All right. Yeah.
Could that be written into RWBY Volume 8?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't I've been watching a lot of Netflix recently, of course, as everybody has, but there's some really good stuff on now. I feel like they're releasing things being like, look, here's all the stuff from you because we want you to have time to watch it. So, and it's just been good. Lindsay, you agree? What did you watch, Lindsay, recently?
Well, ATLA is back, as Arryn said.
Yes.
I was the Last Airbender, if you don't know the acronym.
I watched that with Miles back in college, and I don't think I fully like appreciated it.
Oh no, I was the same way.
I want to watch it.
Like
It's #1 in the US right now.
It's
on
amazing.
Because it just came back out on Netflix. But watching it now, you kind of realize like some of the like lessons and stuff that they're trying to tell you without actually telling you are just so potent. I actually bought a book on Taoism because of Uncle Iroh.
Really? Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
It comes in tonight. I'm so excited.
Okay, add it to my list.
Definitely check it out for sure. Yeah, I was an anime elitist at the time it came out, and I was like, okay, Nickelodeon's trying to make an anime. That's cute. And now I watched it again at 24, and I wept like a baby. So yeah, watch it for sure.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this Avatar live show.
Next up,
Prince Zuko, who is voiced by Dante Basco, is also in RT properties, including RWBY. So there is crossover potential. Thank you very much.
crossover.
Absolutely.
For me, typically when things are normal, quote unquote normal, what it was before this, loved going to movies, loved being outside, taking walks, still take walks now, just for some reason not as often. I think I just feel like I need to be in my house, and that's the safest place to be. So I don't leave very often, maybe like once every couple days. But yeah, I used to do a lot of that. I used to love going shopping and restaurants and bars and all the things. I just liked to be not home, and now that's all I'm doing. So it's a very different thing. And Lindsay, I can't believe you didn't mention this. I've been playing the hell out of Animal Crossing.
Nothing. I saw that. I was like, dude, Barbara's actually like really getting into this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You got 5-star Island.
You have your own Twitter for your Animal
I made it my own Animal Crossing Twitter because I didn't want to bog down my regular Twitter with just my Animal Crossing tweets.
Someone like once I finished The Last Airbender, everyone was like, you should watch She-Ra now and live tweet it. I'm like, I'm not gonna live tweet on my Twitter. And then they were like, but Barbara's done this thing with like made an extra Twitter. I'm like, excuse me, who's done what now?
Yeah. I'm a different person now. No, but like that's another thing too that I've recently rediscovered my love for is video games. I used to not have time or the energy to play video games ever, especially coming home after work. But now that we're adding all these live streams to stuff that we're doing with Rooster Teeth, I've been picking up a lot more video games, and Animal Crossing, I guess, is like video games light. So I don't, it's a chill.
You played Portal yesterday, right? Portal 2?
Yeah, I just started doing also solo live streams on the Rooster Teeth site. So I did Portal yesterday. I started Portal 2. And my God, I forgot how much I love that game.
Isn't it so fun? I tried to play with my dad and he just couldn't get it. So I had to talk him through every single freaking thing.
Oh, best. It's one of the greatest games of all time.
Kara,
I think you would love it too.
I was gonna say, what genre?
It's basically like a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game.
Yeah, and it's very like there's not a lot of like I get really stressed out when games are rushed or like you have a time limit or something's chasing you or whatever it is. Like I get really freaked out. This is like you just got to figure out how to get out of the room.
There's not like
are you playing on the PS4?
I'm playing on PC.
Do they have it on Xbox?
I was going to play with you. I'm going to like force myself upon you.
We'll figure it out. That's a different volume.
Oh my goodness.
Ricardo, the creators of Avatar, thank you for your question.
Hey, you've been waiting to make that joke this whole time we've been talking, huh?
And a reminder to all of our chat room, if you'd like to chat with our panelists as a group or individually like I am right now, or purchase an autograph or get a personalized recorded message, head over to GalaxyCon.com. We will be starting that services up after this is concluded, but we still have some time. So Jude, what do we have next? This comes from Joshua. If RWBY had a crossover with another show, what would it be?
Avatar. Yeah, I was going to say Avatar: The Last Airbender, of course. Obviously.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine if May and Blake, I don't know why, but I just feel like that would be really lovely.
They do have a very similar vibe. Yes.
Yeah.
They'd vibe together. Yeah.
And especially I don't want to spoil it. I mean, it's been out for freaking years. Near the end when she's like a better person, you're like, I can jive. I can jive with that.
Goodness. I just want to see the Zuko Weiss interaction, and they're both like, dude, my dad's an asshole. I'm like, yay, or a-hole. Again, no, I knew no would come, but still. Yeah.
Always you.
Harry Potter.
It's like, yeah, Harry Potter would be a fun crossover.
Yeah.
Everyone's been talking to me about She-Ra.
I love She-Ra, dude.
I've only started it. I'm on episode 4 now, I think, but everyone's talking about how Catra and Adora are very much like Blake and Yang.
Oh,
they are very similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
interesting. Okay, now I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, Harry Potter I think would be a fun one just because there's like a lot of similarities there with like magics and being at school. And, yeah, all that fun stuff. I feel like Beacon kind of reminds me of Hogwarts in a way.
Yeah, for sure. How they both fell?
What's up?
How they both fell?
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Juicy.
Oh my god. Golden Girls. Golden Girls would be great.
A couple years from now.
Just a couple.
Ancient Team RWBY.
Just a couple, yeah.
2021 RWBY on Gilligan's Island coming soon. I love it. Joshua, thank you for that one. That was fun. Noelle, favorite side character?
No character's a side character.
I know.
Oh, Shadow Person number 8 in volume 1.
Yeah.
Well, you joke, Barbara, but actually that was okay. So I'm gonna say Shay D Man, who isn't. I don't know if they would classify as a side character. They're only in RWBY Chibi, but it's when they become self-aware and they address the fact that we had shadow people in the early volumes.
Yep.
And that character is voiced by Clifford, who is the voice of Bakugo in My Hero Academia, which is awesome.
Really? Okay, so yeah, Shady Man is your actual.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
We just had him here yesterday.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome. Retroactively say hi, please. Go back in.
So many good side characters. I like, and again, it's hard to classify who's a side character versus.
We just say anybody other than Team RWBY.
I guess other than Team RWBY, yeah. I've always loved Nora. Yeah, I've always loved Nora. Nora's always been one of my favorites. Because I feel like her and Yang have similar energy. Although Nora, I feel like, is always happy.
Yeah.
And Nora, and I've also always loved Crow. I think Crow has always provided this like really comforting feeling, even though he's very unstable as a character. But I don't know. I just like having him around, and I like him and Team RWBY interacting. It's always been a fun thing to witness.
I really like Neptune and Sun.
Yeah.
Neptune's always been a favorite of mine. I don't know why. I think it's just the like juxtaposition between like Neptune and Carrie.
I know, it's so funny. I think I probably like a Klein, the butler, because he is all of the 7 dwarfs, I guess, or has the ability, and with his eyes changing and whatnot, it's really cool. And he helps Weiss escape. So
yeah,
it's cool.
Nice.
Spoilers.
Noel, thank you for that one. Very good. What do we have next? From Balance Fanatic, which character have each of you enjoyed seeing grow the most?
RWBY, honestly, or Weiss?
Weiss, I
I
think.
was gonna say Weiss, yeah.
Weiss has been a cool growth, I think. Like especially volume 1 to now, it's almost like a completely different character.
Yeah, it's very much like a Zuko growth.
It is. Yeah.
It is crazy to see. Besides Weiss, I mean, I guess I'll answer other than Weiss would be, I think, not really a person, but Penny, I guess, from being just like, it's been fun to see, how
Character being rebuilt. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, like when we first, saw her as a character, she was just like this crazy, like super, like talkative, kind of awkward, little girl. That's all we knew. And now, if you would have told me all the stuff that she went through when we just met her, that's crazy. So,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's going to sound weird because, growth is normally associated with a positive connotation, as it should be. But some people can grow in a negative way. And I think one character that exemplifies that, and I love that because it's juicy as a writer, is Ironwood. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, reel it back in. Mm-mm. And I like Jason too, so maybe I'm biased.
He's a great voice actor too.
Yeah, he's been kicking ass. Well done.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Iron Daddy is what we call him.
What
I call him.
I am a married woman. I do not subscribe to those fans.
Yang is single, baby.
Excuse you.
Balance Fanatic, thank you for that one. What's next? This one goes to Meteor. Do you have any stories from the auditions for RWBY that you're willing to tell?
I don't really remember the audition, to be honest.
I remember it very briefly. The only thing I remember from my audition is that I went into it thinking, oh, I am auditioning for a voice acting role, which means I need to voice act, which in my mind means I need to make my voice different, like not my own voice. So I went into the audition for Yang being like, hi, I'm Yang, like doing almost like a higher pitched sound. And then Miles and Kara were like, why don't you just actually try it with just your normal speaking voice? And I did, and that's what they liked. So it definitely taught me a lot about the fact that voice acting has nothing to do with changing your voice necessarily. It's just acting with your voice.
Yeah.
Word. So that's the only thing I remember.
A few other people auditioned for other characters too, and I auditioned for Pyrrha and Blake also. I think that's kind of the weirdest like memory that I have is thinking about like what could have been or like wow, it's so weird to think about like me reading as Blake is like no, no, I'm Ruby. Like, this is weird. No, it doesn't fit at all.
There was a point when I was supposed to be Glinda, and Glinda was going to have an Australian accent, but there was like a miscommunication between myself and Miles and Monty, and it ended up not happening. But that was the thing.
I think about other audition shows, yeah.
A very uneventful audition process, I think, for us.
I know.
Well, like you said before at the beginning, you all got the role via location and osmosis.
Yeah, no talent whatsoever.
No. Absolutely not true. Meteor, we have time for one more, ladies, so I'll ask our producers to pull the best one they got out of the pool. This comes from Zach.
Reeling it in.
What would you like from RWBY going forward?
Well, that is a good final question.
Ooh, that is.
I'd
Yeah.
like to keep going forward.
There you go.
Yeah.
I second that.
Yeah. Just I think more of what we've already got with RWBY, just more unique situations to put the girls in, more challenges and overcoming those challenges. But also I think the show has done such a good job in relating to so many different people and so many types of different people. And I want to continue doing that and being able to expand the representation in the show, as well as showing people that it's okay to be different in very many ways, and just keep normalizing that as it's done so far.
Yeah, I think it's really cool we get to follow them on their journey, from being students to, where they are now. And I think it'd be cool to, obviously we're going to see new places. Everyone's so amazingly talented on RWBY with, backgrounds and all of that sort of stuff. So I think that it'll be really cool to see, new places and just see Team RWBY, give an example of what they've learned, AKA more fight scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna happen because it's the nature of the show. But I'm always excited for new Grimm, like new monsters and villains to encounter because I channel like myself into it. So like, who am I gonna fight next? Like, who's next? What's up? Yeah, those are my knuckles. I'm.
Don't mess with Lindsay. Oh
That's
my!
right. Got those hands.
That is true. Ladies, we are just about at time, and GalaxyCon, this was the cast of RWBY, and that was my time, but it does not have to be yours. If you'd like to chat with one of our panelists as a group or individually, purchase an autograph, or get a personalized recorded message, please head over to galaxy.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out our schedule of upcoming events like this one. Ladies, is there anything on the horizon that you have, either professionally or project-wise, that you'd like to share with us before we go?
Yeah. Oh no, Arryn, please.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say with just RT in general. I know Barbara and I have a show called Hardcore Mini Golf coming out. The trailer just dropped yesterday, I believe, or day before. I never know what day it is. We're in the other time now. But go check it out on the RT website and get excited for the season.
Yeah, premieres June 10th. That one.
I'm recording an audiobook right now. I can't say what it is just yet, but I'll post it on Twitter when it happens. But I've got that, and I'm on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if you ever want to hang out.
That's awesome.
Arryn, can you blink twice if it's the new Twilight book? Okay.
She's not blinking. Sorry.
Can you imagine me doing like Edward?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Bella. What's her name? Is it her name Bella? Is that what it is? I don't know. I've never read Twilight or watched Twilight. Just like Lindsay said, we have a new show, Hardcore Mini Golf, coming out June 10th. But in addition to that, we've been putting out a lot more content recently and really trying to make sure everyone at home stays connected and entertained. So we've been live streaming for free on the roosterteeth.com website pretty much all day, every day from like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. or later. So head over there. You could sign up for a free account if you want to join the chat. You don't have to, but It really helps support our company and what we're doing, and a rising tide raises all ships. So the more of you who join aboard, the better RWBY could look, and the more RWBY could happen. So if you like RWBY, support Rooster Teeth. It's kind of like all big one happy family. So come on over to the site, watch us stream. It's always a good time and never a train wreck whatsoever.
Just like this panel, smooth as silk. We nailed it. Good job, everybody.
Ladies, as always, it's absolute pleasure to host you, and we look forward to the world being unpaused, and we look forward to having you back on our stages in front of your fans in person. From all of us here at GalaxyCon, we thank you all for joining us today. We hope to see you again next week, where GalaxyCon Live will be hosting the cast of Star Trek The Next Generation and the incomparable Tim Curry. Bye-bye, take care, and keep washing those hands.
Bye.